Yes, we're still doing these MLB shows, even though it's NFL season now. It's Thursday night. It's almost Friday, which is a good thing. We're closer to the MLB playoffs. We're closer to NFL Sunday. It's going to be Friday in about 30 minutes on the East Coast. We'll be on Sirius XM for 3 hours on Saturday. Dave, if you want to stop by, man, this is your official invite. If you want to be a guest on Saturday, we'll be on from 5 to 8 p.m. So, as long as you don't mention Allen Robinson's name on the show, you're welcome to come on. That was a bad game by LA. Great game by Buffalo. The one thing I suggest to all Buffalo management out there, any of the coaching staff, management, fans, Josh Allen should not be running the ball up 21 against any team in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
Unless it's like for the Super Bowl. That's your entire team right there. Not to say that there's not talent on that team, but he should not be running the ball up 21 in the fourth quarter of a meaningless, they had that game in the bag. I don't like to see it happen. And the way he goes in, man, he tries to get every extra yard, which I love Josh Allen, but as like a guy who wants to see the Buffalo Bills finally win a Super Bowl, I don't want to see that happen ever again. But shout out to the Bills, man, taking down the Rams. What did you see? What did you like before we get into this MLB slate? What did you like from game one of the NFL season?
Well, I mean, listen, the Bills are the Bills, and it's what we expected from a standpoint of they're good, right? Did we expect them to be 21 points good against the Rams in LA on week one when Super Bowl reigning champs on Thursday night are like 4-0 when they're dogs against the spread? No, we didn't expect that. But they showed exactly what they tried to do in the offseason. They tried to adjust what they were bad at. And they were bad at, and obviously Kansas City ran through them. They couldn't stop them at any point. Adding Von Miller. That looked like the biggest piece you could add. Whatever you want to say on offense, they should have scored 45. If Zach Moss and James Cook don't fumble, I mean, they weren't being stopped. But that defense impressed me the most. And to be able to dominate the line of scrimmage, and even really have some decent containment on the receivers. If Buffalo is that good defensively, they're scary.
Yeah, big shout out to anybody who drafted Josh Allen, Cooper Kupp, and Devin Singletary looks like a superstar right now because both running backs fumbled.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of chatter on both these guys, go out there and draft them. They'll get another chance, but if Buffalo plays a clean game, they win by 40 in that game. So Singletary owners should be happy. Josh Allen, Cooper Kupp, Allen Robinson owners. I'm an Allen Robinson owner. Not happy right now. Cam Akers owners can't be too happy either. But it's one game. It's a big season. Make sure you lock in with us all season long. NFL will be going every single week in the NFL season. Obviously, MLB, NBA is right around the corner, NHL. So lock in for free for all access to WinDailySports.com. Use promo code WINBIG. I saw some player props roll out. Our player prop model is about to go out for NFL. So our guy Ghost is on it. And Styx's model for NFL is locked and loaded for week one. So that's going to be making a lot of people money. Also hop over to Sharp app. Go to Sharp app or Sharp that app. Or go download the app in the Google Play Store. Dave, you do some content there. I do content there. Go check that out as well. But looking at this MLB slate for Friday, the one thing I'll talk about real quick before we get into the slate, people won money. Some people won money. Some people lost money in the NFL Thursday night. They can't put their money back in until Sunday. So they're going to slide over to the DraftKings and the FanDuel lobby and hop in MLB and not really know what's going on. So a lot of easy money could be picked up. I'm not saying it's easy money, but like easier money than normal because some of this will be filled with people who don't play MLB every day, who don't know how to stack or how to really target pitchers. So Dave, talk about this pitching slate. There's some expensive guys and not the best of matchups or who've been a little bit dusty as of late. And Noah Syndergaard at 9,900. I don't know if I want to get there either, but talk to me about these pitchers, man.
Yeah, I'll tell you, the top of the slate's ugly. Robby Ray, I know. He's very hard to roster. I mean, you can have one of those Robby Ray games. Have it when he's playing the Los Angeles Angels. Do not have it when he's playing the Atlanta Braves. Braves batting .350 against left-handed pitching in the past 2 weeks. I just don't like his matchup. He scares me, and 10-5 is way too much for someone that could get you, 5 points. I really think it's a lower floor than a higher ceiling. I'm off him. I'm off Morton too. And Morton, last 3 road starts, just 9 DK points per game, 13 earned runs. He scares me a little bit out there too. Seattle can put together some, good hits, especially at home. Then we go to Dustin May. Got rocked last time he played San Diego. Only his 4th start out. How could I play $10,000 for him? So I'm already chopping him off. And don't get me started on Syndergaard. How could you ever put him at 9,900? He's a $7,000 pitcher at best. So
Yeah.
I don't even care about the opponent. And Frankie Montas, has he even had one good game for the Yankees? One?
I want to stop you for a second. He did pitch better last game out. It was versus Tampa Bay. He's been good against Tampa Bay on the year. So I think there's some opportunity there, but you're at Yankee Stadium. He has struggled since he come over, but last time out, 5 innings, 1 hit allowed against Tampa Bay, at Tampa Bay, 7 Ks, no earned runs. He's pitched against them 3 times, 18 innings, 10 hits, 1 earned run, 19 Ks, averaging 26. So up top, that's still one guy, maybe. But it's still 9,700 for a guy who's been struggling. So continue down your war path on these pitchers, though.
Yeah, and I agree that it's still strong. Maybe Tampa Bay top 10 in hitting against right-handed pitchers. So but he has had an advantage. So I do start to look in this area, the Rasmussen / McCullers. I like both. Rasmussen has been good of late. Obviously he's had games, in his past 6, all above double digit points, 4 of them above 20. So he's been good. I could see in the Yankees. Do they scare anybody anymore? Outside of Judge, you don't really have a lot of threats in that lineup. Stanton is struggling since coming back. And I could see Rasmussen in this spot. And I do like McCullers. McCullers pitched against the Angels last week, 21 DK points. We know the Angels first in K rate over the past month and a half. So I think those two right there are kind of where I want to start to build my lineups.
Yeah, I agree with those 2 guys. I would probably go and take a shot on Montas over Rasmussen, but it's close there. Question for you though, Nick Lodolo
Yes.
and Ross Stripling. I know, Stripling's kind of scary, but he's been pitching well, man. He's been consistently good enough at 8,200. Thoughts on them? I didn't even mention Giolito. He's got a soft matchup too against Oakland, but dude has just been consistently bad all year long. It's not like he's been ever good or ever great. He's been good at times, but he's still got a 5.21 ERA, 10-9 on the season. K rate is not there either. You can take a shot at 8,500. Don't get me wrong, but thoughts on the other guys? Lodolo, if you want to mention Giolito, and Stripling, I think has some potential upside here.
Yeah, I like Stripling. I mean, on the road this year, he's 5-1 overall. The ERA is solid, 3.03 on the year. I think he's good. I think he can get you a solid 20 points tomorrow. And in this type of, environment, when we're doubting some of the top line starters, 20 is going to get you pretty solid from a raw Stripling kind of range, 3x value. I do like Lodolo. Milwaukee's very, very bad overall offensively. I know they had a little breakout against the Giants, but against lefties are even worse. So I do see some value in Lodolo. He's sneaky. He can get it up there. He's got kind of a little bit of a tricky delivery. I had a good game in his last game out with 25 plus points. So I like both what you're saying there. Where I struggle is I'm not, like you said, Giolito is just not in the range for me. I know Oakland's bad. I just feel like it's gambling anymore and gambling, when you have better options. So I think I'm off Giolito even with the matchup.
Mention a couple more names here. I feel like there's more interesting names that I want to gamble on.
Yeah.
Under the 8K range or under the 7K range that I do at the top range because they just, they're priced out. But mention a couple of names here. You tell me if you like them or not. Dylan Bundy, 6,200 against Cleveland. You got Lynch going against Detroit at 6,000. Austin Voth, 5,700 against Boston. And I'm sorry to say this, but Patrick Corbin 5,600 going against the Phillies. Look, he shut down the Mets last start. He pitched well prior
Oh
to
no, did
that
we break
against
up?
Cincinnati. So there's some possibilities here to go with some of these cheap guys. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, honestly, I think I'm going to stay off the Corbin. I know Corbin pitched well his last few times out, but I just look
It's
back
still
in the one
Corbin.
time. Yeah, it's Corbin, and I know he let up like 7 earned in like an inning against the Phillies the last time he pitched in Cincinnati Bank Park. I'm trying to look now. Yeah, it was ugly. He actually let up 6 in an inning, or 2/3 of an inning. So yeah, I'm off Corbin, but I think you got some real interesting values with the Voth play. He's in play for me. Boston just, outside of Bogarts, who's been pretty good lately, Verdugo as well. They're a lineup that just can't seem to string things together. Voth has been okay, especially at home. I see he's got a couple decent outings, and he's a guy at 5,700. You just need 15, right? And I think he
Yep.
can get that against Boston. Bundy, I might be off Bundy. I'm trying to stay away from Cleveland right now. But what's interesting is that's a huge game in the AL Central, right?
Huge.
I think they're a game apart. So I think I want to sit back and kind of see how the teams react in the first game. Bundy in play at home, never on play on the road. But versus Cleveland, I might stay off. I like the other two that you mentioned way better.
Yeah, I think Voth and Lynch probably safest of the bunch. They get the softest matchup of the bunch.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta, maybe Corbin has the highest ceiling of the bunch, and then Bundy's is the guy that might go out there, get you 5 innings, 6 innings, and get like 4 or 5 Ks, and maybe pitch a clean game and get the win. So I think they're all viable in GPPs. Only you pair them with one of the guys up top or in that mid range that you think might get there, Montas, Rasmussen, McCullers, or Lodolo. Stripling, I think very safe. He's been super consistent, 3.03 ERA all year. So if you want to live in that mid range to get, 15, 20 points at one of the 8K guys that we mentioned, or maybe even McCullers, and then go one of the 6K guys and hope he gets you 15, you get around 30, 35 points from your two pitchers, cheap, and you load up on bats. That's probably the way the build would work best for Friday. You got a Coors Field game. You got Marquez pitching at home against Davies. Arizona and Colorado are going to be a good spot to attack. And then you also got Toronto going against Danny Dunning, a good spot to attack. You got the Phillies going against your guy Corbin, good spot to attack. Where are you looking, first glance? What's your favorite stacks on the board right now?
Yeah, I do think it's the Phillies. I just start there and I look at what Corbin has done against the Phillies this year. And, you might want to close your eyes a little bit, but it's bad. 18 ERA in 2 starts. He's only pitched 4 innings, let up 8 earned runs. It's not good. I'm sorry. Yeah, 8 earned, 15 runs. So I do like the Phillies in that aspect, but I also do like the game you mentioned in Colorado. Marquez, you can find value in him at times, but it's not at home. 6.09 ERA. Arizona coming in, swinging the bats decent, right? They had a couple of good games recently against Milwaukee and the Phillies. Even in San Diego, they had one good game. So I think I would look at Arizona as my second stack. And then you also mentioned Toronto. I think that's a good one too. So those are my top 3.
Okay. Any love for Baltimore? I know you've been the Baltimore Whisperer going against Brain Bello here. Bello's been good, not great. 5.91 ERA. Hasn't faced Baltimore yet. Struggled a bit on the road. 8 earned runs and 8.2 innings pitched here. Any love for Baltimore, who's fighting day in and day out to make the playoffs as well?
Yeah, I absolutely think there is love for Baltimore. I guess my concern is that they seem to be gassing a little bit, but maybe that's just because of, they've been running so hot for a while that it was about to come at some point. Manoah shut them down the other night after having mediocre starts against them. He finally had a great start. So I don't know if they're just starting to fade a little bit. So, but it is a quality matchup. I'll give you that. And I could see myself paying, but as we talked about recently, Baltimore's overpriced. And I mean, it's going to be hard to really stack a really good Baltimore team anymore when you're getting guys like Santander, Mullins above the 5K range, even Rushman. So it's getting tough, but I do like them.
Yeah, one team I'll mention, Michael Lorenzen. Last time he pitched was on the 1st of July against Houston. Pitched 3 innings, 7 earned runs, 3 home runs allowed, 8 runs total. And then he went out with a 60-day injury to his shoulder. Now they gift him a new matchup against Houston, going to pitch Houston at home. So he's not going to pitch long, regardless, coming off the 60-day DL here with shoulder problem. So Houston is probably going to face 1, 2, maybe 3 innings of Lorenzen and then a full bullpen for the rest of the game as well. So I think Houston is definitely in play, a spot that you can attack here. Arizona, Colorado, spots he attack. I think Cleveland going against Minnesota could get interesting. Toronto, we mentioned. Obviously, the Phillies as well. Any love to potentially stack against one of these top pitchers? Maybe an Atlanta stack against Robby Ray, which I think could work. The Dodgers, going against Clevenger, not a top arm, but a player that, some people fade against. Or, maybe kind of get sneaky and go with either Yankees or Tampa Bay. The Yankees been super quiet, and Tampa Bay, is facing Montas, who just shut him down and finally look good for once. Which one of these top arms would you look to target potentially with a lower owned stack?
Yeah, I think it's the Braves. I'm with you. I think last time Ray faced quality offense, I mean, I guess you'd still have to call the Yankees somewhat quality, but outside of that, he's faced Cleveland twice, Washington, the Angels twice. But you go back to his 2 Houston games, negative 10.7 in 2 outings. Teams that are a little more patient, teams that you really have to pitch against, seem to take advantage of that. And I mentioned earlier, the Braves are really good against left-handed pitching, so I could see a good Swanson, Riley, Darnold, even Acuna's coming around, but I don't know if he's necessarily worth the price that we're still seeing him at. I think he's probably a year away from coming back to the Acuna we're used to. But I like those 3 guys in the middle, and then you can still get value with guys like Grissom. I can't believe he's still at 3,000, putting up almost 10 DK points a game.
There you go. Let's finish the show. Obviously, you can check us out at windailysports.com. Home run prop model is live. Our prize picks model is live at windailysports.com. Tony's doing TikToks now with his home run props that are hitting so many times. So you can check him out over at TikTok. Jared has prize pick show every morning. He'll be sprinkling some NFL to go along with MLB. We got player props for the NFL as well. So much things going on at windailysports.com. Use promo code WINBIG to lock it up. Dave, I'm going to cheat. I'm going to go with my 2 guys. I'm going to go with Altuve and Kyle Tucker.
All right, we're good.
They got to go deep here against Lorenzen. So I'm going to go out there and do it. They got to hit a home run. I hit my Trout one last time out, so I'm feeling kind of good about it. I could have went 2 for 2 if I took Yelich, but backed off it. Coors Field, obviously a great spot. Toronto, a great spot. But I think Houston is just playing really well. So if you want to get some, I'm sure Tony's going to grab some guys in Coors Field. Maybe you might. So I'll leave that open to you. I'm going to go with 2 Houston guys that hit a home run tomorrow.
Yeah, well, I'm going to lead off with one, and you just said his name. Mike Trout, home run in 4 straight games. Why not make it 5? Make it a nice little 5-pack. You did hit him the other day. He's just starting to do Trout things, right? And I think, in that situation, yes, McCullers is a good pitcher, but yes, Trout has had him in his book. And even with that said, I just think, when the guy's high, he's hard to pitch to. He's hitting the ball out to right, to center, and left in the last 4 games. So I'll take Trout as my 1 and Bichette as my 2. He's facing Dunning out of Texas, and he's had 4 home runs in his past 3 games. He had that 3 home run game out in Baltimore as well. I like to take the guys when they're hot. So I'll go Bichette and Trout, and I'll even put a plug in, release my RB article today, running back fantasy model today. Hey, there's 2 props in there. So get in there, look at it. We got 2 props.
You got 2 props in there? Well, tell me one of them. Is it Saquon Barkley to score a touchdown? Because that's one of my props.
No, I will tell you, I mentioned one on our DraftCast the other night. I'll give you my other one. It's Aaron Jones over his receptions. I think Aaron Rodgers is just going to be in a situation where he needs to find comfort. He's going to have rookies out there, especially if Lazard doesn't play. He's going to have Watson, Doubs. He's going to have to check down quite often. And I think Aaron Jones is going to be a recipient of that. We see his prop out there right around 3.5 or 4.5. He had 5 receptions the last time he played the Vikings, and that was in limited action. He was pulled in the third quarter of that game because they were up 37-10. So I like Aaron Jones to get a bunch of receptions this weekend.
There you go. Make sure you check out his article. We have articles out for every single position at WinDailySports.com. We got a cash game article, a GPP article. We got a game-by-game breakdown, player prop models for multiple sports, lineup optimizers, projection models for multiple sports, and hop in that expert chat because we're in there 24/7, 365, talking lineups, talking season long, talking everything sports related. So make sure you hop in there. We'll be back this weekend covering MLB slates, covering NFL slates on Saturday. Make sure you check us out on SiriusXM Radio, 5 to 8 p.m. on the Fantasy Channel. And then Sunday, we're going to be doing a pregame show at around 11 a.m., answering all the questions you may have for DFS, season-long fantasy, stardom, sit 'em, all that kind of good stuff, some props as well. So make sure you lock in with us Sunday at 11 a.m. as well. We're out of here. Everybody, good luck. NFL season is here, but we're still making money in MLB as well.